What's up, guys? I have a new job. This is the third episode in a bracket, so we need your honorable mentions for the finale. There, did my job. I'm done.
Wait, top of that? Wow, the guy really did get fired. We don't even have a cold open anymore.
Yeah, normally
we do not ease them in.
Steven would have written something, but unfortunately he was let go from the company.
Wow, wild that you remembered his name.
Unfortunately, we've gotten reports that Steven's wife and children have starved. For they had no income.
Yeah, Steven is dead. So we are dedicating this episode of The Tough Cut to Steven's wife and children.
It's like no one wants to work these days.
All proceeds from this episode that doesn't have advertisements in it
will go to HBO Max and Discovery Plus merger. It will go towards the intern who I hope releases the Batgirl film. In its entirety.
Wow, topical.
Isn't that wild? I'm trying to help out your cause here, Matt. I don't know what you
absolutely.
want here. I'm trying to,
I bet the Batgirl movie would be a movie if it came out, but it's not. They scrapped it and it was done. That's crazy, dude. All right. Hello and welcome back. We're the Tough Cut Podcast, and I'm Matthew.
I'm Alex.
I'm Jakers. One day we're gonna get Matthew to join in on that. One day.
That day is not today. And this is episode 75, part 3 of our Jack Black bracket. Nice. And coming at you in today's episode, we've got Tropic Thunder versus School of Rock, and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle versus Be Kind Rewind.
I'd be Jack Blacking.
You've been Jack Blacking it?
Yeah, I've been Jack Blacking it. All 3 of my films moved on. I didn't even realize.
Oh, wow.
Look at Seems we've got a resident Jack Black expert over here. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know who pitched King Kong, and I would have picked Be Kind Rewind if I had gotten another one, you know?
Nah, be real. You would have picked, like, Year One with that Michael Cera movie. Remember that?
I thought about picking that one.
I tried to watch that in a hotel room once. I couldn't.
No other? But the porn was also on there, so...
They had Skinamax for free.
Yeah, I love staying at La Quinta Inn. Spoiler warning, we'll be spoiling these movies, and probably other movies. So if you really, really want to know how these movies end, I don't know, watch them.
Or listen to us.
Listen to us. Yeah, like if you really, really want to know and you don't care about context. Because I guarantee if we spoil anything, I don't know how good we are at it, but like, I guarantee it's never in context. Like, I guarantee you could probably watch the film and it feels completely different to listening to us.
We normally are like, oh, that was crazy in that movie when the guy turned into a blood vortex. And then, you as an audience member would watch the movie unassumed and then see the blood vortex and go, oh, that's what they were talking about. That's really all they added.
And it's like a 2-second clip. It's not even like a big plot of the movie, but we talk about it for like an hour.
Guys, I just checked out and I tuned back in when you said blood vortex.
Thank you.
I have to apologize. I was thinking about King Kong and how they do a whole 3-hour movie about Big Monkey and not show Monkey's penis. It's a naked monkey the whole movie.
It's a naked monkey, and he wants to have some naked love, but unfortunately not allowed.
I'm sorry, we're not even talking about King Kong this week. It's been on my mind.
Yeah, release the Kong cut.
Yeah, release
the Dong cut, the Kong Dong cut.
The King Dong.
There's
King
something
Dong,
there.
Peter Jackson, 2005.
There's something
Donkey
there.
Kong.
No.
With that, Jake, you want to go ahead and introduce School of Rock?
That's actually one of my favorite Matthew jokes, by the way. Fun fact.
Thank you.
It's atrocious, but I love it. So yeah, I'll just introduce both of them back to back. We got School of Rock, 2003, directed by Richard Linklater of Boyhood and the Before trilogy fame. This is about rock and roll dude who is about to he needs money, so he fills in as a substitute teacher at a private school, and instead of teaching them the regular curriculum, he teaches them how to rock. How to rock. And on the other side, what its versus on is Tropic Thunder, 2008, directed by Ben Stiller of Zoolander fame. I don't know why that was the first Ben Stiller I thought of.
There's Something About Mary.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of Ben Stiller content on here. That's good. We should get, because he does good movies. He's had some good ones.
Yeah, I like Ben Stiller.
Still shout out for Severance. Yeah, that Tropic Thunder is about some fucking actors who go, like, they want to shoot a thing. They want to shoot a movie, and the director drops them in a real life war zone and doesn't tell them, and then they gotta go through that war zone, and it's pretty damn funny. It's a big satire. That's really important to note about Tropic Thunder. It is a very satirical film, and so it tackles a lot of the absurdities of Hollywood and, like, you know, fucking method actors and drug use and TiVo, you know, all the things that people still talk about now. These are two fun movies, man. These are two very fun movies.
Jumping in right up top, I've got like a really important conversation I want to have about these movies.
Mhm.
How to approach this? Do we think that Jack Black's character in School of Rock, Dewey, would have been able to hold a steady job as a temp if he had TiVo?
Wow. That's a great question, Matt.
You know, all the features of being able to record live television to watch back later.
Why did TiVo never take off? What happened?
It
Streaming?
did, dude.
It super did take off.
Well, not like you know, why isn't it still around? I don't hear anyone talk
Because
about
we
TiVo.
can stream we can stream
I think streaming.
now.
I think
Yeah.
streaming
The
killed
streaming?
TiVo. But
That
TiVo was
sucks.
huge.
That's a fun
and
joke.
I think most, like, for anyone who has cable, nerd, you can like record them on like any cable box now. It doesn't have to be specific.
Now you can. You used to not be able to. Like, TiVo was a vital tool that I think then became like, oh, why couldn't they do that? And now
It's just like such an interesting, like, something that really did like take off, and then all of a sudden it almost immediately became obsolete, which probably sucks.
Yeah.
I think you're
underselling TiVo.
underselling.
You're sounding
how
like the
long
Matthew
TiVo was.
McConaughey, and I'm sounding like Tom Cruise right now. I don't
My
give a fuck
family
about
had
the
TiVo for a long time. I'm about to Google how long TiVo was relevant.
I'm so sorry I've derailed. I blame Matthew. He asked about TiVo. Fuck off.
To the credit of the question, I do think Dewey Finn would have had a rough time if he could record cable. I feel like he's the type of guy to, like, you know, wake up at 11 and, like, I don't know, skirt out the door and, like, miss his favorite show. So, like, if he could just record that baby, his life would be changed forever.
I don't think Dewey watches TV.
We never see him watch TV.
I genuinely feel like he's more of a live life rockin' and, like, have shenanigans about it. I don't think he watches TV, if I'll be real.
Could be, you know? That's a strong stance to take.
Thank you. I'd be thinking.
Guys, I can't find TiVo is not officially dead, so it's hard to find an end date for TiVo.
Well, yeah, they're a publicly traded company.
Yeah, they were purchased, or there was a merger in 2019.
You guys didn't realize you would learn a lot about TiVo this week.
Guys, spoilers for the history of TiVo.
Yeah, spoilers. Xperia actually purchased them in 2019. So for all you TiVo history heads out there, we just jumped right to the end. You missed 20, 20
so
plus
we
years.
do actually host a trivia night, and if you are listeners to reward them, we like to give an answer ahead of time on the podcast. So one of the questions will be how long, who merged with TiVo, and when did the merger happen? And if you guys put 2019, you will be right.
Yeah. So look
TiVo had a
to
great
that.
remote. You guys remember the TiVo remote?
Let's get away from TiVo, okay?
Matt, you brought us to TiVo.
You brought it up. Do not bring shit to the table if you don't want to talk about it.
All I'm going to say is I probably TiVo'd School of Rock at some point in my life,
Whoa.
Big
so
TiVo
you're
allowed to bring up more
here.
TiVo. You're allowed to talk
Yeah, you're allowed to talk about TiVo, but we can't talk about TiVo.
Okay, we'll break away from the TiVo conversation.
Guys, this episode is going to be called Big TiVo.
Dude, we're about TiVo's share price about to go through the goddamn roof, my guy.
Guys, I'm just going to say,
minutes.
we're doing a great job time management for this episode, because at 11 minutes last time, we had just finished introducing the movies, and this time, we've had 5-minute conversations about TiVo.
Anyway. Real conversation. Mm-hmm. No TiVo. Despite it being a central plot point in...
I can't make that promise, Matt.
Again, well, not again. We talked about this last episode a little bit with some of the movies, but both of these have, like, large ensemble casts. We have School of Rock, which I think Jack Black is clearly the focal point. But we get like little arcs for lots of the kids, which is nice because they are physically small, so their arcs should be shorter.
Wait, hold on. Your determination for if someone gets a lot arc or screen time is if they like how big they are on screen.
Did I sneak that one in there? And then stop and wait.
Honestly, that explains a lot of plot holes in King Kong.
It does. You know?
Wait, okay, I do have one more thing about King Kong. They show his nipples. Why can't we get Kong dick? Why can't we get Kong dong? We get Kong nipples. Guys, how do you think King Kong would do if he had TiVo?
He wouldn't have killed all those people.
He would have had a lot more stuff to do. He wouldn't have needed to kill everyone to entertain himself.
Also, like, who was that other monkey skeleton? Was that, like, his girlfriend or his mom?
Well, there were a lot of monkey skeletons, so I think it was, like, his mom and his girlfriend.
Damn.
I don't think he had either.
That's rough. He just willed
rough.
into existence. Anyway, so School of Rock, we've got Jack Black as the focal
TiVo,
point.
they wouldn't have died.
And then we've got, like, a large ensemble cast. Kids have little arcs. They're physically small. We get the point. And then in Tropic Thunder, we have, you know, a cast of all like normal sized adults with like, you know, varied arcs. So like,
I don't know.
how do
Jay
you make
Baruchel
sense
pretty
of that?
skinny.
Yeah, and he has a somewhat smaller arc, you know.
Oh, he is tall. You're right.
I will say, yeah. Where do you guys kind of stand? Kind of like branching off that, Matthew, because we talked about how Tropic Thunder doesn't have a lot of Jack Black, and we talked about it, you know, with other films in this bracket as well. And Jack Black is front and center of School of Rock. Do we think that Tropic Thunder's performance, I know we all love the movie, like objectively, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably our favorite movie in this bracket, and just in this matchup. But do you think Jack Black's performance alone in that is strong enough to overpower like the Jack Blackiness of School of Rock?
It's really tough. I was thinking about this earlier, like, Tropic Thunder is very much an ensemble movie, right? It's about their group. Mm-hmm. But Tropic Thunder, like, is also about the group. Like, it's about him, but it's about him with the school kids. Like, It's about him and iCarly. So, like, I mean, but that movie manages to be more about Jack Black's character than Tropic Thunder does, you know? I don't know. It's really tough.
Tropic Thunder, we get great peaks from Jack Blackiness. He's so much fun, and there's a lot of great Jack Black stuff, but like we've got consistent Jack Black action through School of Rock, you know? And to the point of the question I was asking before is Jack Black is the focal point of the ensemble in School of Rock, whereas he is not the focal point of the ensemble in Tropic Thunder. Right. Because despite them both being ensemble casts or larger casts, it is clear that there are principal characters in both ones that take up more of the screen time, more development, etc.
Sure.
And inarguably, Jack Black is that in School of Rock,
right?
Which I think contributes to the amount that he kind of gets to do. With that said, as I started this comment off with, you still get like really, really great moments in Tropic Thunder. Killing a bat, being in his underwear on the back of a cow, like you know, tied up.
The scene where he runs into all that heroin at the end, just built up, and just like is looking at it like it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it's like super distilled into those couple scenes where it's like. In School of Rock, he's like the guy. So he's got like highs, it's the lows. He gets the really strong entertaining parts. He gets the like more real grounded parts that are about moving the story along. In Tropic Thunder, he's the highlights, baby. He's got all the bangers. Yeah, it's tough. Him tied to the yak or water buffalo I think it's a water buffalo.
Probably.
It's great.
I don't know a ton about the wildlife of Laos.
I TiVo'd an episode about it.
And it's so interesting, these two performances too, like they are pretty different. Like, you know, we see Jack Black as a person like interacting with kids and be really fucking wholesome and do all that stuff. And then seeing him, I bet if people like as kids like had two movies of Jack Black and they saw School of Rock first and then they saw Tropic Thunder, it is pretty jarring. This is pretty different. And yeah, I just think it's like really interesting because they're just different. I mean, Jack Black is a totally different character in Tropic Thunder. He's drug-fueled actor, sweaty man. And
how do we
School of Rock, he's sweaty man, but like as something about seeing him interact with kids, like Jack Black does feel like a family entertainer. And there's
Mhm.
something really, really good and special about School of Rock, how he interacts like with kids, and like that also feels very Jack Black. Whereas
Yeah.
in Tropic Thunder, he's playing a heightened version of probably not himself. I'm sure he's done drugs, but I don't think to that degree. But I don't know.
I wonder how his characters would do if they swap places.
Oh
how's
my
terrible.
How's Dewey
God.
doing in the jungle? Probably pretty poorly. And how's, I don't know his Tropic Thunder character's name, doing as a sub?
It's like Jeff.
Oh
Mead
yeah,
or something.
Jeff Portnoy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, how's Jeff Portnoy? I think he's doing a bad job at school.
I
too.
comparatively, I give Dewey better odds of surviving a war zone in the jungle than I do Jeff not being arrested by the end of a single school day.
No,
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
is he making it to lunch? The answer is no. Like,
Though I do think their first classes go pretty similar. Because, you know, the first time Dewey rolls up, he's like, I'm hungover. It's recess all day.
yeah.
I think Jeff probably sends him to recess all day. He just gets caught.
I think he makes all of them call their parents and be like, do they have drugs? Like, I know they're rich. Where's the blow? Like, I
Yeah,
literally...
instead of
holding
eating
your
a
kids
sandwich,
hostage.
he eats their aspirin or something.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Like, Dewey is like a kind of off the wall guy, bit of like a burnout sort of dude, but he's still like a competent guy. You know, he just likes to
Yeah.
drink and party and play music, you know?
Not
Sure.
according to Sarah Silverman.
It's just interesting. It just think like for me is what's gonna feel more like the Jack Black, because I love Tropic Thunder, and I think it's a fucking phenomenal performance, and that's why I'm struggling. Like on the other side, I know we have like Jumanji, and like that's also a new performance we get from him, and that's also really cool too. So like I want to celebrate him for that, but it's something about seeing School of Rock and seeing him interact with those kids and seeing like. He'd still be like the rocker dude, like kind of Tenacious D, like, but seeing that he has that soft side with those kids and like being that family entertainer, it's just something really awesome for me. Like it hits a spot that I really, really like. I like endearing Jack Black.
It feels like the Tenacious D persona like 5 years later. Like he's kind of like calmed. It's like if he hadn't in Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny found the Pick of Destiny, you know? It's like where his trajectory would have eventually been, just like hanging out, living with his friend, and trying to make ends meet, you know?
Yeah, the kids, so, kids saved him.
Also, you know, on some level, I don't know if this is a controversial thought, but him and Joan Cusack's character, Principal Mullins, I think they have a really fun chemistry.
I love their chemistry, actually.
Yeah,
it's weird. Great. I also, Joan Cusack is such an odd little performer, and I love her for it.
Yeah.
Big fan. But yeah, they have really, like, I feel that. They got electricity.
No, like a little bit in a way where I'm like, I believe, like, even her as her character. I believe her character probably did used to be fun. And, like, her job has, like, made her not be. And that's sad. And I feel like Dewey could open that up a little bit, you know?
Are you feeling parallels? Are you feeling like your job's bogging you down, Matthew? Do you feel less fun? I still think you're fun.
Thank you. I try. I try really hard.
Hey,
Alex is a corporate sellout, but...
That's true, I am. Matt, even if you're busy with work, you know, at least you have TiVo to save all those shows.
That's the thing.
Miss.
You do have TiVo, and so, ooh.
This is where we find that because we fired Steven, we had to find a new way to bring some income generation, so we took that huge TiVo ad deal after they went bankrupt.
If this episode of the Tough Cut podcast taught me anything, it's that TiVo is not dead.
TiVo is not dead.
Just wouldn't it be hilarious in, like, I don't know, a couple of years this actually does randomly take off, and then, like, people go through our back catalogs and, like, we get a sponsorship from TiVo because it's, like, our joke, you know? It's like, oh,
the running bit.
Tough Cut boys love
the
TiVo.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're the TiVo.
Welcome to the TiVo podcast.
Listening exclusively on TiVo. And
You could only record
devices.
you could only miss our podcast and record it for later. Like, that's the only way to listen.
I think that's something that's really tough with these two movies. Yeah, tough cut.
That's really good, Jake.
Despite how great Tropic Thunder is I feel like the character of Jeff Portnoy just does not have the same dimension that Dewey Finn does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's really tough because there is so much more to Jack Black than just the, like, powerful, funny, goofy, charming charisma. And I think getting a more full-bodied character helps him have more of those varied moments.
Right.
I mean, I think Tropic Thunder, tries to do a lot with the character of Jeff Portnoy. Like, he has, I think, a lot of potential in his arc, but I think a lot of the stuff in it of, like, he secretly feels that the work he's doing isn't meaningful and, like, he's ashamed of it. It's there, but I think a lot of it is unspoken, and it feels like that was something that was cut down, maybe.
Interesting.
Because, like, I really like the idea of the arc, and you can see, like, the peaks of that arc are there, you know? Like, there's Al Pacino is making fun of him for it. The, like, scene where he, like, farts and the guys laugh at him at the end and he shoves the opium into their faces. Like, the seeds are there, but I feel like a lot was left unspoken for it.
Yeah, I that's probably a very good, because, like, there are really great bones, and if you know, like, you would, I think that's one of the things that is, like, almost so brilliant about Tropic Thunder is, like, if you just rearrange who becomes the principal cast, I feel like you can have essentially the same film just with, like, a different, like,
lens. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like,
for sure.
if you just swap Jeff to be the principal character rather than having it be, you know, Tug Speedman and Kirk Lazarus is, like, the big secondary character. Like, you can have, like, the major plot beats remain mostly the same, but tell, like, a very different story. And I think you can do that same swap with, like, just about any of the characters into the principal slot in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
Whereas School of Rock, you know,
You can't put Miranda Cosgrove in the front seat.
No one wants to watch this movie from iCarly's perspective.
exactly, you know, like, we don't need iCarly driving the bus, you know.
And I don't want it, frankly.
Whoa.
I'm
That's fair.
giggly. I'm a
That's
little
fair.
giggle boy.
Do we got anything else, or are we?
I think
what are
we can vote.
doing?
I
think
kind of
that's
think
fine.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One of you guys want to go first? You both said you could vote.
Yeah,
Don't put that evil on me.
I can go
Sorry,
first. I feel like I've gone first a lot, but I'll
You are
do it. 'cause
decisive.
Very
boy.
decisive as far as Jack Black movies go. I'll
I
give you
know.
credit for that.
I don't know what's on my brain, but I'm gonna go School of Rock. I mean, I love Tropic Thunder, but I think School of Rock is the most. If we're doing a Jack Black bracket, this is a Jack Black movie through and through, and I think there's something really wholesome and really good, and still really Jackie Blacky, and it's phenomenal. So phenomenal. So School of Rock for me.
Helix.
Yeah. I think similar reasons I have to vote for School of Rock. I love Tropic Thunder. Maybe if we do a TiVo bracket.
Movies where TiVo is a significant plot point coming to a tough
What if
cut
we
bracket
just
near
put
you.
Tropic Thunder in 8 of the slots and just talk
We
about
just watched Tropic Thunder 8 times, and we had to talk about which viewing of it was the best. We have to watch it. Okay. We have to set aside 16 hours and watch it 8 times in a row, and you have to decide which viewing of it is the best.
Also, I think that we have to exclusively do in person together. So the next time we're reunited, audience, look forward to it. And if that episode never comes out, you know that we never see each other again.
Well, that means we never see each other and have 16 hours to watch
I don't
Tropic
know.
Thunder 8 times
We
in a
do
row.
have an unreleased Tough Cut reunion episode, if memory serves. But
Ooh,
Oh, God.
That one, the one that culminates in someone throwing up. I think we're okay.
But it's a good one.
it's the Snyder cut. Our
What
fans
movies
will
did we
demand
talk
it
about?
eventually.
I don't remember.
I truly have no idea what movies we talked about in that recording.
Anyway, what are you voting for? Wait, what did you vote for? You voted for School of Rock.
School of
right?
Rock. Yeah.
Okay.
It's done.
Yeah.
2 of us did.
Cool. I'm also voting for School of Rock here. School of Rock is, like, such an iconic Jack Black performance, and I love Tropic Thunder, but it's not like I don't think Jack Black when I think Tropic Thunder. It's not like when I think, yeah, that way around. So with that,
Rock on.
School of Rock will be moving on to our finale. And
Hey, don't forget to do honorable mentions. I did my job again. You guys are welcome.
God, you're
Nice,
so
good
at
job. Batting 1,000 here.
that.
Thanks.
I will go ahead and introduce Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
You better.
Released in 2017, directed by Jake Kasdan. You got some kids. They go to detention for 4 different reasons, basically. They
Breakfast
find
Club.
an old ass stinky game console. Looks like an Atari 2600. They start playing the game. It turns out it's a cursed game called Jumanji. They get sucked into the game world. They use some speedrunner strats and escape. and it's pretty sick along the way. And Jack Black is played by a teenage girl, so it is Jack Black pretending to be a teenage girl, which is wonderful. Jake, you want to introduce Be Kind Rewind?
Yeah, on the other side, we got Be Kind Rewind, directed by Michel Gondry. It's about dude named Freeloader Jerry. He gets magnetized trying to sabotage the local power plant, as one does. And he wipes all the videos at the Be Kind Rewind rental store. It's essentially a Blockbuster. And they gotta get the movies back, so they do shitty remakes, but quote unquote shitty remakes, home movies of them, and it's really fun. They're trying to save the store.
What happens if Magnetized Jerry touches the Jumanji game? Are all those people just gone?
If Magnetized Jerry touches my TiVo box, are all of my recordings gone?
No, Jerry, get away from my TiVo.
Jerry, my TiVo! All those backlog recordings of the Tough Cut, gone.
Well, here's the thing, is that we know that the game console, even when unplugged, people still remain inside. Alex is still inside.
Is a good point. The game doesn't have to be continuously running for him to just be trapped in there. But I feel like if the data gets erased...
Yeah, if you wipe the memory of
that seems bad. If you reset the save file...
It magically turned from a board game into a game
I don't think you're thinking logically enough about the rules of Jumanji, okay?
Can we talk about what a bad video game Jumanji would be? No specific levels... No specific design leading you any place, but a very specific goal to escape. No, great character acting. Love that. But a video game can have great characters in it and still be fucking awful.
Name 3.
Mario and Sonic at the Beijing Olympic Games.
There are great characters.
Great characters, awful game. I'll keep thinking of more.
Yeah, and just as they come up, just say them freely.
I was gonna say the new Wii Sports on the Switch, because I'm in that game, but some people don't like it because it doesn't have golf.
What do you mean you're in that game?
It's not very fun. The games are pretty bad in it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's my
so that's a good one.
My me is in the game, I'm in the game, and I'm
Switch
a good
Sports.
character.
That's the second one.
That's what it's called.
Okay,
anyway,
the third one. Sonic Werehog Unleashed.
A lot of Sonic games over here. Hey guys, we'll play every Sonic game all the way through if you tweet at us 10 times.
Sonic Adventure 2 is a really good game.
Sonic Adventure 2 kicks ass. I spent hours in that Chow Garden.
We need 4 more tweets for us to read the entire Sonic script that we've been waiting on for over a year that we still haven't gotten. So,
anyone confused why that level in Jumanji is called the Mighty Roar, but there are no lions in it? It's just guys on motorcycles. What's up with that?
I don't know. They got missiles. But what I was gonna reply to was the fact that you're like, it seems like a bad game, and I agree. It does seem like a bad game. It seems horrifically imbalanced. There's a character that has no weaknesses. That's lame. I want to be the guy with no weaknesses.
What's weird too is that's not the main character of the game. He's the third character choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What a weird design.
But from a story perspective, it's his old rival is the main villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very weird. However, the props I will give to the Jumanji game is that it's got some sick speedrunning strats. Being able to death warp your way to put the jewel back in on the last level there to go from the bottom of the statue to the top is a good strategy. I bet a GDQ run of Jumanji would be sick, dude.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Someone did that article, a speed run of Jumanji? I think that's a good article.
I bet so.
Some game rant shit.
I mean, I'm confused at why you had to go to the bazaar and do all that when they had the gem from the beginning. Couldn't they have just gone to the statue?
Well, they wanted them to find Nick Jonas.
I mean, yeah, but
Nick Jonas is in this.
Yeah, what happens if they don't find Nick Jonas, but they still put the gem in the thing? Does Nick Jonas just
get free
hang out until he finds the guy where they can leave? They're just waiting to shake his hand.
Also, that was something. A couple of things. It's just Jumanji specific things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, please.
One, Alex been in the game 20 years. Alex gets released. Alex goes back 20 years and goes to his current time. or his original time, and then lives his whole life. Do you think every group of 4 kids he saw just like vaguely approaching him, he was like, "Oh my god, it's them!
It's them.
I named my daughter after you."
That's
and they're
really
like,
funny.
"Who is this weird man?"
No, because
And-
he knew that it had been 20 years.
That's
so he
true.
probably was like waiting 20 years to see 4 kids together.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
year he was
That's
like,
still
oh.
that year he was probably on edge. Like
I gotta be on the lookout now. And then relatedly, you just stay in the game forever, right? If you wanted to.
Yeah.
it's the key to living forever, yeah. And I know that's why you're talking about this because you seek immortality on the reg. But,
I do.
Yeah.
So like Alex Wolf's character could just be like, I'm not gonna give you a handshake. I'm gonna stay fucking cool for, I don't know, 30 years or something. And then I shake your hand. I go right back, but I have 30 years plus of experience, you know?
Yeah, you can live a whole like lifetime.
Lifetime, yeah. Could have gotten married in there.
It's a pretty poorly designed system for a video game. I'll say.
Why do you say it like that?
Like the idea of like, oh, you get sucked in the game, but you can just choose to live there forever. Like, what's up with that? But then if you die in it 3 times, you die forever. Come on. Which I guess they've never tested. It's possible you just like respawn at the beginning. Like game over is just.
It's possible you just get out of the Jumanji box. Yeah,
I kind of think if you
stakes.
lose, the game over is just start the game over. You don't die forever. That'd be like really poor design for a video game. More things about why this is a bad video game. Karen Gillan's weakness is venom. Everyone dies from snake venom. Like, she dies
speak for
instantly,
yourself,
but everyone else would just be like really slow deaths.
She gets blood vortexed.
Again, we're not thinking logically enough about TiVo, about Jumanji.
So
did we introduce Behind Rewind
We
yet?
did,
I
we
kind of
did,
feel
we did.
okay. Good.
We did.
Well, if I
Good.
think back a week, Jake, you did say you had something to talk about with these 2 movies.
I did.
I'm curious.
I did.
What hit us with
Well,
it?
these 2 are like really interesting to me because I kind of talked about it with Be Kind Rewind, where it's kind of like more of like an indie movie feel and like it's like about community or whatever. And Jumanji's, it's a cash grab. Let's be honest. They sequeled a popular thing. And it's about a board game and it's about video games. Sorry. I don't mean to spoil this for you, but it's another like big movie. And like, yes, it's awesome to see Jack Black again in a blockbuster movie, but it's also like, I don't know. When I think Jack Black, I don't really think big blockbuster movies. I think of like smaller budgeted movies that are just like really good and full of personality. And I feel like that's what Be Kind Rewind is to me. Is that smaller movie with a, wacky little premise that feels more personal. So yeah, I was just interested on how you guys felt about like, big blockbuster movie, make a lot of money, coming back for a sequel, what's gonna happen, and just like Be Kind Rewind about like community making movies.
I mean, I think in terms of like an actor's performance, I think there are definitely actors that are known for doing like small indie movies, and there are actors that are known for doing big blockbusters. I see Jack Black in both.
Sure.
He got famous doing like medium-sized movies, I feel like, and has just kind of since then done indie stuff, since then done big blockbuster stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like one does not scream more Jack Black to me than the other. And that kind of leads itself to another conversation I wanted to have, because Jack Black is top billed in Be Kind Rewind, but I kind of don't see him as the main character. Like, I think Mike is more a main character in Be Kind Rewind than Jerry is, even though Jerry is the inciting incident of becoming magnetized, like, I don't think that makes him the main character.
Sure.
I think I would agree with that. Like, it is more centrally Mike's story. I feel like Jerry just kind of like causes a ruckus in it, which
He's
speaks to the point on like dropped plot lines of like, they have like the shortest like 3rd act low point falling out that lasts like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they're like all good again, and they're like going to keep sweeting movies. Whereas I feel like they probably originally envisioned that conflict being more significant and being a driving force in both of these characters' stories, but it ends up being a driving force in neither of their stories.
Yeah.
Except for like the passing comment where Mike's like, "Oh, it's always, you and Jerry in all the movies." And it's like, is this going to turn into like Mike feels like he's getting the short end of the stick with like producing these sweeted movies? And it turns out, no, that isn't where it goes. So
it feels like there was and we talked about this last time, like there was this whole romantic subplot that they had in that was interwoven with him becoming the actor in the like movie at the end.
Yeah.
And then they like kept him as the actor in the movie at the end, but cut out the romantic subplot. But the scene where he like justifying him becoming the actor at the end is the one is like intertwined with him
With
starting the
that scene.
relationship. So they like had to keep that scene. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, it strikes
You're
me
pretty.
as odd. With that said, if they were to Be Kind Rewind, if they were going to Swede Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, what
I
do
think
you
it'd be
think?
pretty funny.
I think it'd be really
I
funny.
think it'd be really funny.
It's a very sweetable movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels like a perfect like asking for a low budget like couple of goofsters kind of riffing.
I just love that. I don't know. As a kid, I just always thought it was so cool, that thing, and like I wanted to do it so bad, and like I think it's such a fun little thing.
Well, something that's
Be in the Jumanji game, that is.
Yeah, of course. You wanted to get trapped in there. Mostly wanted to get sucked into Zathura so I could hang out with Dax Shepard and ask him why he made chips.
White chips? I was literally gonna say. I was literally gonna say chips. That is so funny. That's great.
so good.
Hey, he's married to Kristen Bell. They're awesome.
Have you guys seen their hot pepper eating challenge? Or they ate like really spicy chocolate or something?
No, I have not seen
They're
that.
miserable.
Are you a
Well,
big
because they were
consumer
famously
of-
on Hot Ones and were both very successful on Hot Ones. Like
Yeah.
they can handle a lot of spicy food.
Mhm.
And this spicy chocolate bar destroys them.
I cannot remember where I was going originally with my comment.
I said I always wanted, like, I love the
Oh,
concept of
One of the things that's
Chips.
like so fascinating, and chips. One of the things that's so fascinating with Be Kind Rewind is like I think that is like such a prevailing dream or something. Like I know people who wanted to like make movies or get into entertainment or something, and it was essentially sweeting movies like they do in Be Kind Rewind is where they like started off was just like filming home video demakes of their favorite films, being like, yeah, what if RoboCop fucking fought King Kong, like
yeah, and
I don't
that's,
know,
like,
or whatever.
it's how movies are so, like, I don't know, like I love the through of just like how inspiring that could be for a community, and like not even just for kids, for these like grown men to do that. It's just, I don't know, it's really sweet, and I really like it.
Yeah, for sure. I that is what I think. There's like such a good heart in Be Kind Rewind. Especially like from a creative perspective that I think is so cool. However, do we think they still like destroyed the building at the end?
I think they might.
There are like a lot of bad plot things that happen in this movie, like bad things happening to the characters that they just kind of like skate over, and they do this movie and everyone's like, hey, great movie, and then it ends before the building can be destroyed, before the guy goes to jail or has to pay all that money back. Like they really don't address
because
it.
it's not about that.
That's true.
It's not about that.
It's like the quote, our past belongs to us, we can change it if we want. I don't owe you that money anymore.
It's like that quote, 'twas beauty that killed the beast.
Here's a little life pro tip for all you guys out there. If your state has a tax-free weekend, just file your taxes during that weekend and you don't have to pay any taxes.
Matthew, I have a lot of questions that
just
I probably
kidding.
shouldn't
This isn't
ask.
financial advice or whatever bullshit.
Matt, I have
You
a
don't
lot
do
of
that.
questions, mostly because I don't know enough to know whether that's true or not, and I want to be informed so that way I can take advantage of tax-free weekend.
No, tax-free weekend is just like you get to buy t-shirts and don't have to pay tax.
Yeah, they have that in some cities and states. Like you can go to Portland, Oregon, you don't got to pay tax on
Anyway,
buying stuff. What's it called?
Sorry
Sales
for bringing
tax.
that up. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which I think is just like such an oddity in Be Kind Rewind is like it feels like it ends 15 minutes before everything goes to shit, but there's also like a really sweet heart to that of like the community gets to share this awesome moment, and then Mr. Fletcher gets relocated to the projects. Like
I mean, it would have really sucked to see that at the end. It might have been more realistic, but again, like I know I said it kind of as a joke, but the movie isn't really about that. Like it's not really about like it really is about the community and stuff. Because honestly, like as someone who's like made a movie or whatever, it happens quick, and then it's kind of like done, and then like life keeps happening, and you just kind of just keep moving on. Bad things can happen, good things happen. Just because you make a great movie, don't mean shit. It just hits so many parts for me that I just think are really, really great. I really like it.
It's a lovely film, but there is that hanging piece that I think Alex like hit it on the head that like in a lot of ways in both of these movies, Jack Black does not play the principal character here. I do think Mike is probably the lead in Be Kind Rewind, and clearly, it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart in Jumanji, which
Right.
interestingly enough, we really voted on a lot of Jack Black movies where he plays like a secondary character because
Yeah.
he's got apparently a
He's
lot
just
of iconic.
got that. He's got
you
that
know?
sauce, man. He's got
Yeah,
that
he
sauce.
really does. He really does. Any other topics of conversation? Anything we want to talk through here?
Guys, I don't know if Jumanji's gonna move on, but it's got some other good jokes. Like when Kevin Hart is Moose Finbar, but it's actually Mouse Finbar because he's short. That's a good one.
Yeah, and according to Matthew, that means he's not allowed to have an arc. So
Yeah, and we learn that Kevin Hart and Fridge, the boy in the real world, both might be well endowed.
Oh, you're talking about penis.
Well,
Oh.
he said they had the same penis. I don't know that it actually is.
Why would you know, Alex?
I've seen Kevin Hart's penis.
It was a passionate and lengthy evening that he'll never forget.
Good for y'all.
I TiVo'd it.
I'll watch it later. Watch it later on the TV.
Save it for later. Yeah.
That is a good joke. That's a good bit. It's similar. Be Kind Rewind. They all watching it from outside. It doesn't sound like they're getting the movie audio out there, so they're just watching a silent picture that's reversed.
Yeah, they cheered a lot for that movie that they probably didn't hear anything about.
But I assume the implication is like it's about the community. Everyone knew about it / were in it, and you're all like, hell yeah, we made a thing. They're really proud of it.
That's pretty rude of them to be late to the movie. Then why are they not trying to sit in? They not paying. They not paying for the movie. That what the implication is?
Also, Jack Black quotes Thomas Hobbes, the philosopher, when he says that life is nasty, brutish, and short, which I feel like is like a layer to his character that I don't want to unpack.
I thought you loved philosophy.
Well, it's the fact that he says he thought it up. Am I supposed to assume that because he's kind of like an unreliable guy that he actually read Hobbes but was lying about it? Or he is similarly coming to the same conclusions that Hobbes is, but independently of him?
You're supposed to believe that he is Hobbes, and this is actually a telling of the origin, like a gritty, retelling of Hobbes.
A gritty retelling of Thomas Hobbes's
Yeah.
philosophical works. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You like that?
Yeah, I do.
You little saucy boy, you like that?
I am so saucy. I am sauced up, my guy.
Whoa.
Much
Guys, I tuned out again, and I came back to Matt calling himself saucy.
Yeah, it was just Matt. It's so weird. Matt just went on a tirade.
I keep yelling about it. Yeah, I'm mad sauced up, just like King Kong was when they gave him that chloroform.
Guys, it's interesting that Danny Glover is in Be Kind Rewind because he also is one of the old men in Jumanji 2.
That's true.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know.
So
if
wait,
he's Dwayne Rock Johnson
why did Jumanji 2 not make the cut? Is
I haven't seen
Black's
it
in there, right?
actually. I
saw it.
Jack Black is still in it. I don't know. I never saw it. I assume it's still good.
The principal shtick is that Spencer and Fridge's grandpas go into the game. And plus them. But
Right.
his grandpa is The Rock, and Spencer is Aquafina.
Aquafina making every film better, I guess.
She really keeps being cast in them.
Wait, so there are just 6 characters in this one? They just added characters?
They can't do that.
Well, they didn't
Well,
keep all
not
the same
to a hardware
characters.
game like this. It's not connected to the internet.
You're
They
not
can't just
thinking logically enough about Jumanji.
Guys,
Anyway,
Jumanji, it's made me upset. I want
It's
to play it.
it's pretty fun. The sequel's still pretty fun.
It
It
is
sounds
pretty fun.
like
It is.
we're ready to vote. It doesn't sound like we've got anything productive to say.
I mean, it's hard because I know that Be Kind Rewind is probably not the performance that people are thinking or used to or even think of when they think of Jack Black, and that's what's so difficult. I think it's just because it struck a particular chord with me. Because if I was being objective about if this Be Kind Rewind didn't strike the chord that it had with me, I might be picking Jumanji just based on the Jack Black of it all. But it just feels like another side of him and another layer of him that I just find so interesting, and I like it so much. But I know that's probably not the popular pick. But that's that's just my thought process of it. Because thinking, I think we talked all these movies, we talked a lot more about Jack Black specifically, and he's whatever. And with Be Kind Rewind, we didn't really talk about the Jack Blackiness of it. We just talked about kind of the story as a whole, and it's interesting. I don't really know how to feel about it, but it just warms my little heart, my little boy heart, so much.
Boy heart and his boy hole.
What? Is this gonna be another thing where at like 2 a.m. you text us, hey, can we like take that out of the podcast?
Can we cut out when I said
Can we
boy hole?
cut out, please?
Can we cut out me talking about Jake's warm little boy hole?
No, please.
Whoa, you're taking it to a new level.
Whoa.
So is that a vote for Be Kind Rewind?
It is, and I am fine however this goes, but like there's just something sweet and special about that movie. So I'm going for Be Kind Rewind.
Nice.
If you remember from the last episode, Be Kind Rewind was not my favorite movie for that reason, and also because I think I like Jack Black more in Jumanji. I have to vote for Jumanji.
You have to.
Brings it down to me.
I have to.
By law. Contractually obliged. I am also going to vote for Jumanji here. As much as I love Be Kind Rewind, and kind of in spite of what Jake was speaking to a minute ago, I think that the Jack Black performance, or like his performance in Be Kind Rewind, is like a more typical Jack Black shtick, where Jumanji, we get something very different from him. Admittedly, a smaller role, but like watching him play into that and like play a fully fleshed sort of character in Jumanji that is so different from many of the characters he plays is really, really cool. So I think that's where I kind of fall on this one, which I do still love Be Kind Rewind.
Catch you.
I think if you, thank you. I think if you love film and filmmaking, and are particularly nostalgic for like making films with your friends, like it is a movie you should check out.
Wow.
With that said,
beautiful.
we've got a finale.
Oh shit!
Not today.
We do.
Oh god, not today. It'll be next week.
It'll be next week, and we want your honorable mentions. There's so many more Jack Black movies to talk about, so we'd love to hear the ones. I know a lot of people like The Holiday. I guarantee no one's gonna say Shallow Hal. Yeah. So I mean, please, keep an eye out for that. We will be posting on our Instagram about honorable mentions. We can hear there at Tough Cut Pod.
Yeah, thank you for putting that plug in.
Beyond
that, rate and review the show on all your favorite podcasting platforms. We are on all of them, I think.
Yeah, we should check in that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, if you listen to podcasts somewhere and you can't find the show, how are you listening to this? I'd like to know.
TiVo.
Who should they share today's
TiVo.
episode with? TiVo. Someone who still uses TiVo, actually.
Share it with someone who still uses TiVo.
Yeah. Call your local TiVo rep, get TiVo, and then tell them, hey, I also have this pod.
Yeah. Hey, I got referred to your service by the Tough Cut podcast. Call TiVo and tell them that until we get a sponsorship.
Call Big TiVo. Call
Medium
Senior TiVo and figure it out. Nice. I'm proud of us. We did it.
Bye.
All right, Alex, say that thing you always wanted to say.